there's just blood and sinew strewn across the floor at every single Tree Museum show.
Hello?
Listen, you could have pulled that off. Most of our audience is actually just listening, not watching. Let's try that again.
Hi. Hello.
Good to see you, Andy. How you doing?
Nice to meet you. I'm Andy.
Nice to meet you. I'm Lou.
Hi, Lou.
Welcome to the audio station. We're based here in Etobicoke in Toronto, Ontario.
Yep.
We're just bringing you the life behind music to light. Here we are this week, early August, hot summer days. How you feeling, Andy? What's going on this week?
I should put my sweater on because I'm not used to air conditioning.
Yeah, the AC compared to like the outside is pretty wild. I feel like I'm gonna get a cold every time I go into an office building or a bank.
I do, especially car air conditioning. That's kind of the worst.
Those Uber drivers
stuffs me up
so
bad. It's like, yo, just roll down the windows, man. It's way better.
It's natural.
Yeah.
Natural air.
Yeah, it's great. It's way better for you.
Yeah, it's some people like being cold. I like it.
Well, let's talk about music now.
Oh, I thought this was just going to be a podcast about air conditioning.
What do we do here, Lou?
Well, we're bringing you forward some bands that I think need more recognition in the Toronto music scene. We started this podcast basically because as a musician myself, I noticed that there was a little bit of community lacking in the music scene. And it was very money driven, specifically speaking in Toronto. It was very corporate, and it was just sort of, it's from personal experience, companies like the Supernova, like the efforts to like, you have to like pay to play sort of thing is super common. And it's a lot of bands, most bands in fact will have actually gone through that. And it's just, we're trying to create an avenue for creative people to have an audience that actually cares about art and the craft and the whole community that goes into making these great sounding and these great atmospheres where people can just have a good time.
But like the thing is the whole thing with the Supernova thing. It's like I'm guilty. My first band ever when I was in high school in grade 9.
Yeah.
Grade 9 or 10. Like that was our only outlet. We couldn't get a chance anywhere else. We had to start doing our own shows and like in jam spaces and like basements and.
And I do recognize that they did bring some exposure to the bands, but my point is the value of bringing it to a high cost is just the part that seems a little. I mean, the music industry has never been a really.
Yeah, that's fair. The music industry never really has been fair.
Yeah, it's been a very greedy place.
Yeah, exactly. It's
regardless, though, if any place should not have that sort of mentality, it's the local indie scene, and that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and I 100% completely agree with you on that. But I mean, it's like I was just kind of giving you the opposite side of things, where it's like, yeah, it's shit, it's awful, it's terrible. I don't like, but I do also have to sit like be the devil's advocate. I said I've been there, I've done that, and that experience is invaluable.
Totally. Right? Yeah, and actually.
Those are the shows like I worked hardest,
and specifically
right?
in
you
Toronto,
kind of care. It's like oh man, I'm just like on a stage in front of people right now
at big stages. Yeah,
right.
Like entry level bands could get access to really.
It's like, yo, I've watched my favorite band. Oh yeah, my favorite band plays here on this stage next week.
Yeah,
right. It's like that has happened.
But it's never at the profit of the artist. It's always at the profit of the promoter or the venue owner.
Of course, and it's like it's just. I mean, I want to say it's like starting off as a minimum wage job and then like working your way up, but like you're not even getting fucking paid. There's no minimum. It's the minimum wage is zero. Well, that's the thing.
There's not enough money to even have the opportunity to try out that avenue of work for long enough to catch any traction to actually commit to it. That's why we're making an effort to make a change to that for people to have more of an outlet in this weird, crazy, confusing new age we live in. I feel like there's like we are stepping into an age where there's like going to be a lot of new regulations and a lot of new changes and a lot of policies that we've been used to. Like even now you can see with the legalization of weed, that's going to change a whole bunch of stuff on like a cultural perspective and a legal perspective. Things with the internet becoming so integrated with people, like there's gonna be more and more regulations. Today on the radio, I was hearing that Google came out with a statement that did not confirm or deny that the phones are always listening to you.
I thought that was common knowledge. I mean, I know Apple, yeah. Google,
but
I'm
for
not
it to be
surprised.
on the mainstream, that's crazy. Like, it is common knowledge, but for it to be on the mainstream, that is insane.
You know, and that's it. It's like, it's like this is like, yeah, it's you're getting recorded at all times, right? At all times.
Yep.
And it's just,
watch out.
yeah, like,
They're listening.
You know, I I'm one of those conspiracy nuts that have like their camera blacked out with tape.
Yeah, that's
you know,
no conspiracy. Hey, have you listened to the new Travis Scott album?
I have not.
It's
Can you just double check
great.
my input there and see if it's plugged in? It seems like it's.
Are you like all
that was better for a second.
You feeling loosey goosey?
No, just the input there. There you go. Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, now it's perfect.
Sometimes it's just got to go in all the way.
Yeah, not just the tip.
Just.
But I mean, like, I'm not the hugest Travis Scott fan. I'm not gonna lie. When that song Antidote came out, I was like, yo, that beat is fucking nasty. Which kind of goes back to our Adrian Rohaman interview that we did, our very first one, where I was talking about you have a sick beat and the lyrical content is very, very low. Yeah, Hollywood. Like, just yelling shit.
I'll say this: as
like
much
random
as I
sentences.
agreed, I shifted my perspective of it because it does speak to the culture. You know what I mean? It does, like.
No, I'm not saying that. No, it's like, no, like, I get that. I mean, that doesn't change the fact that, like, the lyrical content is fucking garbage. That's what I said. That's all that I said.
I'm trying to have a positive light on it, but I can't disagree.
But the beat is so sick.
Yeah.
The beat is so sick. I haven't listened to the new stuff yet. I've had a lot of people, like, you know, posting things online. I just never hit that click.
Yeah, but
button.
shout out to Travis Scott for bringing people like Stevie Wonder, John Mayer, even Drake is on that new album.
Oh,
21
I did not know. I
Savage.
didn't know any of that.
Crazy.
See,
amount of
now I learned
collaborations.
something new today. Like,
And
that's something that I'm actually might just go check out now.
He just is a proper producer. He is. He started off initially under Kanye West as he was like his prodigy, starting off like 5 years ago or so.
I did not know any of that.
So that's why he has that like Cudi sort of vibe to him too.
Yeah, but it's like
a lot
his
of the-
production is ridiculous.
It's tight.
Yeah, it's really fucking good.
Hive Mind by the Internet also dropped earlier last week, and I'm still loving that album. It's like a funky sort of. The Internet is actually a smaller branch of what used to be Odd Future. And like I really wanted actually to also talk about groups like Odd Future and how I'm seeing that becoming more of a common thing, where groups of initially what is a group of friends get together and like
ASAP.
Yeah, they get together and a bunch of MCs, producers, and real like marketers even get together, make a team and a production, and then end up having a whole empire behind them.
And like yelling the same thing over and over in every song in the background.
Hey man, if it works, it works.
It works, man.
If it works, it works.
And it's like they're like, you know, their beats. It's like, yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah.
It's like instead of putting like the logo on the back of the album of like who recorded it, or like in the liner notes, now it's like in the song, you know who did it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool too, and I think that's a good way of like promoting yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
shout out to DJ Khaled.
We the best.
Another one.
That guy's obnoxious as hell, but it works.
He's fucking killing it. He's making so much money.
It's weird.
I'm here.
It's a real conflicting thing with DJ Khaled. I have. It's like weird respect for like his
album
craft,
done with Nas, man.
but I hate it,
dude. Yeah, it's but Nas. The song he did with Nas, album done, is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
because it's Nas. Anything Nas touches is just fire. It's the best. He's the best.
Yeah,
him and Big L, greatest rappers of all time.
It's classic still. You know, I feel like if Nas died back when Biggie and Tupac died, he would have been labeled as one of the legends.
Oh fuck, Illmatic is come on.
But you know, I wanted to also take the opportunity to raise awareness for some indie bands, some Canadian indie bands that some people might not know of yet. This week, actually, I wanted to...
Our new band of the week.
Yeah, a band of our Discover Weekly version of the podcast. I wanted to talk about this band called Bodies. They're from... I actually discovered them last...
Where are they
from?
from?
Oh, wow, 2 years ago now. They're from Vancouver, BC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're Canadian. actually 2 years ago, I went on a road trip with a good friend of mine, Mike. He was on the podcast last week. Shout out to Mike. Mike Poisson.
Next door Mike.
Next door Mike.
Yeah.
That's him.
That guy. I've met him.
We went on they went on a tour going to Victoria with one of his older bands, and I was just in Calgary visiting and getting to know Banff also. And on the way back, we got to ride and like do a whole car trip on the way back. We camped all through Saskatchewan. It was like a whole week of just getting like literally nothing but camping and sharing music. And on the way back, he showed me videos of this band that they played with back in BC, Bodies. And it was just like, I could not believe that most people had not discovered this band because they're tight. They're really good indie rock, really well written, and just good vibes. Good vibes. What do you discover this week?
So I had somebody written down of who my artist of the week was going to be, and then midway through you were talking.
Yeah.
I kind of
thought
about changing it. Yeah, I thought about switching it up.
What was your original?
I'm going to give both if that's okay. So first one is it's a Toronto reggae soul band called The Responsibles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they are just so groovy. They're playing actually Orbit Room tonight, and I'm considering just flying down after we're done here.
Yeah, right on College.
And check it out, because
Orbit Room, every time I've been there, is always like tight, like either a DJ or a really, really good soca band, and it's never not amazing.
Yes, and like, you know, they at the last Thursday of every month, I think it is, they have a Steely Dan cover band there. So
there it is, the weekly Steely Dan mention, brought to you by Andy Dinner.
I had to bring him up. You know I did.
We should have a sound.
We brought up the Steely fucking Dan again.
You did it.
I did.
Yeah, I love the consistency.
I know. I just consider so yeah, The Responsibles. Check them out. They're they make you feel good. Yeah. They make you feel so good. They're so fun. They're so full of energy, passion. Responsibles, but it's not spelled like regularly responsible. It's just been like Responsibles Toronto or Responsibles Reggae. How
did you discover them?
I actually used to work with their guitarist / singer Johnny Wright. Johnny Righteous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. He's the coolest dude I have ever fucking met in my entire life.
Right on.
I love him a lot.
What's the other band?
The other band was actually Sparrows.
I know Sparrows.
Yeah. Yeah. So, funny thing, when I met Johnny at we're Responsibles,
right,
I also met John, who's the drummer of Sparrows.
I feel like they just go in packs. Johnny Johnson.
Yeah,
Jonathan's.
Yeah.
They all.
So Sparrows, they released an album a year, coming up 2 years now. It's called Let the Silence Stay Where It Was, and I was working with John when this album was released and everything like that.
That's kind of an ironic name for a music project.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess. But that album, yeah, I listen to it pretty frequently still, and great band from Toronto. They're all hardworking dudes. They're all good dudes. They're from all over. I know one's originally from Ottawa. One's lives in London still. One's in Toronto. Like they all, they traveled a lot to get this band doing.
How long have they been around, Sparrows?
Probably maybe, I don't know. I don't really know. 5 or 6 years maybe. I'm not too sure. They're signed to New Damage Records.
Right on.
So they're doing pretty well. Constantly doing the American touring thing.
Yeah, shout out to Sparrows, The Responsibles, and Bodies.
Yeah.
Those are your three bands this week. You get 3 instead of 2.
Yeah, you get some post-hardcore, you get some reggae, you get some indie.
Yeah, some good new music to
everything.
To vibe out for, because a lot of the time I get fed up with the algorithm YouTube or Spotify puts in my stream. I'm like, why all this stuff sounds the same? And
that's the point.
I get why it is, but if I want to because if I want to branch out, I love
that fucking feature, man.
It's good if you want to keep getting more.
Well, but then it gives you something a little different here and there with a little bit, or there are some times where that'll happen. Like I have it on and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? This is amazing. And I'll actually find shit out. Yeah. So it's I think it's a great thing, and I think you're being a negative Nancy. You
know what? I feel the best way to discover new music is actually going to a live show. Ideally, a local show.
You're calling me a fucking. I was so passive aggressive. Like, you fucking hermit. How about you leave your house to find some new music?
Actually, going to a place.
Yeah.
Discovering a new band.
And so passive aggressive.
Honestly, man, that's what I'm trying to bring forward, right? Like people going out and trusting their city to actually have good consistently good talent.
All right, you hear that, everyone? Leave your homes. Go see some new music.
Yeah,
just like walk
get
into
out there.
You
Just-
see a lineup or like you hear some music, go inside the fucking building and watch that show.
Yeah, we're actually going to introduce a band this week that's been in Toronto for about 2 or 3 years now. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, actually. Here is Tree Museum.
We're gonna take a break and then come right back.
We're going to take a little break.
Uh-huh.
But to them, it will be a second, so it won't even be a break.
It'll be like one of these.
Oh, hey guys.
Whoa.
Thanks for joining us so
Jeez.
quickly.
I was doing the dishes before this one.
Yeah, how did this happen?
Well, sorry to take you out of your day-to-day life, but thanks for making it out here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Thanks
So-
for giving us something to do.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you.
We're introducing here
likewise.
Adam Houle and Aaron Tocheri. I was forgetting your last name for a
That's
for
alright.
a bit.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, for a while I didn't even know how to pronounce it properly.
Usually, like, people call me and they'll be like, "Oh, Mr." And then I was like, "Tocheri," and they're like, "Oh, great, Mr. Tocheri. Thank you so much for coming in today."
Sorry, Taco Re?
Tocheri, whatever you want, man.
That's
you know.
funny. That's good.
I mean, if we're talking specifics here, you got my name wrong.
Huel?
Yeah, it's not that.
What?
What is it?
It's Houle. Houle, like pool
Oul,
or cool.
Delul.
Okay.
Jewel, maybe.
Like pool, drool, or cool. I thought,
Any of
man,
those.
I've known you for 3 years now. I thought it
You've
was
been saying
Huel
Huel
this
the
whole
whole
time. Well, it just shows how great of a friend I am.
Bad telemarketing.
Thanks for
Not a
being
good
on
one.
on the podcast, and I want to tell our audience a little bit about your band Tree Museum. How long ago did you guys start? Where was it incepted? What was?
jeez.
Just take us back to the roots and the origin of how this whole project started.
That's a really good question. So, I've been playing music for a long time. I think since I was like 14, 15, and
How old are you now?
28.
Nice.
So quite a long time. And we started, of course, way back in Thunder Bay, Ontario, where we're all from. I think we're the only Thunder Bayites, mostly kind of.
Is
here
that the
today,
official term?
Which is interesting.
You guys made it? You're like the only Thunder Bay that made it? Is that
Well,
what
no,
you're
just
talking about?
usually-
That's how you're
here.
Usually they tend to congregate in Toronto for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
flies, they
I've
all
met a
circulate
lot
together.
of people from Thunder Bay.
Yeah, they travel in packs.
You
There's
gotta
nowhere
watch
else
out.
to go.
But yeah, so I was playing music back there for a long time. Then when I moved to Toronto, I moved with my guitarist at the time, Greg Smith.
And he's still in the band.
Still plays with us today, obviously. A huge part of it. We were living together in Etobicoke, and I had tried out for a couple local bands singing and stuff, and I wasn't really feeling it, and it didn't work out super great. So,
So did you try out like other people's, like you just wanted to join a band where you could sing, or you tried like mixing and making music with other musicians?
It was a bit of both. So, I had some
Okay.
like cover gig stuff, and then I had some bands that had like a full set already. We were just looking for a new singer. A couple younger bands who really wanted to kind of, make new music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was really hard to kind of get out there. I wanted to make my own stuff and continue what I had done, with Greg and my band, Import Export, back in Thunder Bay.
And this was fresh out of high school too, right?
Mostly out of high school, yeah. It was kind of just finishing high school. We were kind of messing around in college for a while, and then when we came to Toronto, it just made sense for us to kind of hook up and start writing music together.
How long ago did you guys come to Toronto?
So I've been here for now 7 years, and I think Adam, you came here, what,
Four
four or five?
close to 5, I guess.
Yeah.
So in between the stretch of
Time's still
2011, 2014, you all kind of just migrated over here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It was a big exodus
It was
of
a
the
good year.
Thunder Bay music scene, which was was interesting. We all kind of said, "No, fuck this place. It's a little too far away."
The first time I saw you guys play live, one of your first shows actually, I think it was Lee's Palace. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had the other drummer's name was Felix.
Yeah, so once me and Greg got the band actually together, we'd kind of written about 4 or 5 songs, and we started looking for drummers. And Felix we actually picked up through Craigslist, which was great.
I see.
What was
Cool.
funny is he was actually playing with a bunch of other guys from Thunder Bay at the time.
No way.
so-
Was he from Thunder Bay also?
No, he's definitely not from Thunder Bay.
It just happened to be.
Happened to
he was in those
align.
circles.
Can't get away from it. So we started playing with him. We found a bassist and a friend also from Thunder Bay, Taylor Perot,
Right,
who's a
yeah.
good friend of all of ours.
Now that's actually initially how I got to know you guys through
Right.
through Taylor. Shout out to Taylor. Hope you're watching
What's
this.
going on, T?
But
Hi.
actually, was he the one who posted a ad on Craigslist, like looking for a band, or he auditioned for your guys'
So
band?
I'd known Taylor for a long time because we'd played
okay.
in groups together in Thunder Bay.
Right,
And
okay.
I knew him, and I'm like, hey man, you know what? It would be great. We need a bass player.
Nice.
So he came out, filled out bass, and then we had Felix Mills on drums at the time.
So there was already a connection there.
So
That's
there was
awesome.
there was a really strong bond from day one, and it was a really good experience.
Wicked.
Since then, we've been playing around for about 2 years, and then Felix parted ways. He decided to pursue some other projects.
Mm-hmm.
We had some changes with Taylor as well too. He had to move. He had to leave Toronto for a little while, and it was around that time, just slightly before Taylor left, that we picked up Adam. Adam was obviously a good friend of ours through the Thunder Bay music community.
Kind of.
Yeah, you
Kind of. We actually didn't really know each other.
We didn't know each
well,
other super well,
but
we knew of each other, I would say.
Yeah, but I ended up in the band because the last drummer wasn't from Thunder Bay, and that wasn't really gelling. Everyone has to be from the same town in this band.
wasn't
so-
matching the criteria.
Yeah, and then when Taylor left, we got a new person named Taylor to play bass, who's also
Yeah,
from
so we
Thunder
replaced
Bay.
one
Wow.
Taylor with another Taylor, and that's kind of where we're at today.
Also from Thunder Bay.
Also from Thunder
You
Bay.
have a pretty good tight filter.
Keep it in the family.
And I'll be honest, we tried to get less Thunder Bay in the band.
Less
and it
Taylors.
it just kept coming. I don't know what. Yeah,
Once you get some Thunder Bay,
you can't go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
It
kinda
won't go
stuck.
away.
so what else? What are other Thunder Bay bands that people should be thinking about,
aware
or,
of, yeah.
aware of? Is that
Is there
Uh,
even one that stands out in your head?
because
Is that-
you go and I type in Thunder Bay bands on Google, and then it's the first thing that comes up is Thunder Bay cover bands.
Yeah, well, there's a really good cover show series that happens at Thunder Bay,
Oh,
which is
really?
awesome. But it's pretty much just known to Thunder Bay people. Coleman Hell is from Thunder Bay.
That's one of the names
Is
that
he?
came up.
And Paul Schaefer.
Paul
Those are two of the names
Paul
that came up that I looked. There was three names. There was three bands.
There you go,
and
Andy.
those were two of them.
You're doing your
I
job
swear to God.
correctly.
Wow, it's maybe
yeah.
a pop quiz you guys just passed.
We have
Holy
5
shit.
roads and an auditorium named after Paul Schaefer.
Oh, Paul Schaefer Way.
Paul Schaefer Way.
Coleman Hell was he's about your age, right? He's
I think he's a little bit older than us.
Okay.
So yeah.
Coleman Howell and then
Coleman.
That's
Oh, and Glenn Bailey.
Glenn Bailey. Do you know who that is?
I don't actually.
Oh wow. Well,
But that's good for him.
Shout out to Glenn Bailey, whoever you are.
Shout out Glenn Bailey.
let's go give some Glenn Bailey some love, okay, guys?
man, that's awesome. And for people who haven't heard your music before, how would you describe it?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because I have my when I first heard it, I had an idea.
Well, you go first. You go first.
Well, when I first heard it, it was just like Canadian indie rock. It was a touch of folky with a little bit of just that alternative groove, And the lyrics seemed very. When you mentioned your influence with Fleet Foxes, I totally heard it. I totally heard it, and it was like a paradigm shift. I'm like, yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. But yeah, initially I thought it was more folky. And then I saw you guys progress, and I saw what your vision was. It was more alternative, a little more indie rock. But yeah, how would you describe it?
But before you describe it, I'll give you a second to think about it. But let me give you what my impression was when I first started listening to it. Right off the bat, right when I started, I pressed play, kind of the first influence that I got, it's kind of like a Cap and Jazz Owls kind of vibe to it, which is it's a huge compliment.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I got, which is when we started this interview, I didn't know that you guys were from Thunder Bay, which kind of
man.
explains a little something because not far away is Winnipeg, where the Weaker Thans are from.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
So I was
Love the
like,
Weaker Thans.
dude, so do I.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing. I mean, minus the vocals, because
Yeah.
his vocals are his vocals.
Yeah,
No
you
one
can't really
you
touch
cannot touch those. No offense.
of course
It's his style, and that's something that
That's not
everybody.
kind of personal.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm giving respect here. I mean, minus the vocal, in terms of the music, a Weaker Thans kind of Owls, Cap, and Jazz mixture with its own voice, and that is a compliment. That is a good thing. So, if
Thank
you
you
are
very
interested in
much.
any of those bands, check them out. For
Yeah,
sure.
that is a pretty accurate first impression. For
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
Absolutely.
so now, who'd you compare yourselves to? Where do you get your influence
Don't
from?
look at me. Dude.
Come on, answer something.
All
You've
right,
been doing
all
all the talking. I want to hear
Yeah,
from
come
you.
on.
It's,
Come on.
hey, I'm play drums,
So I want to. Some people want to hear the drummer's opinion.
I don't write
Nobody
the music.
takes pictures of the
What-
drummer.
What would you say when you came into the band that you think we kind of reminded you of?
Well, I didn't know anything about the band, and then Taylor gave me the CD to listen to, and I was like, holy shit, I know these guys. I didn't know they were that good. Okay, yeah, I'll join the band.
So you liked it off the bat? It
I
was-
did actually. Yeah, that's the whole reason I joined. Wasn't just I'll just play drums in a different place. But no, it was yeah, I genuinely liked the music.
What exactly was it that stood out to you when you first heard that CD that Taylor gave to you? What was the thing that made you say, "Holy shit"? I know these guys. Like that defining.
The whole quality. It was really like the whole thing. Like I didn't know Aaron's voice was like that, and the songs weren't just like.
I mean, you look at the guy and
Yeah, I mean, who could
I have a
ever
deceptively deep voice.
expect a guy like that?
Smooth as silk.
Yeah, and then the songs, like the arrangements were like pretty out of the box. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it wasn't
agree.
just like straight up, like top 40, like chorus verse kind of thing. It was like cool parts. I'm like, all right,
Yeah, it was
down.
thought out for sure.
yeah.
and so what do you think? Who'd you compare yourselves to?
So it's weird because when we were playing at Thunder Bay, we did a lot of different classic kind of like indie bands, and also like indie rock, but like those really kind of like more in the vein of alternative rock. That's that late '90s kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So we listened to like a lot of Queens of the Stone Age. We actually used to cover those guys
Yeah.
all the time.
I can hear the vocal melodies totally.
Yeah,
riding
like
on that.
kind of like weird dissonant stuff was we were really into. Bands like Sunno and even stuff like that. Like to get a lot of
Oh,
layers.
yes.
We were like a huge fan of even bands that like were really about developing layers. So like for example, the first Tame Impala album that came out, we were like so blown away with this, and we don't really even do much psychedelic kind of effects.
Yeah, but your
we love
Kevin
the
Parker,
layering.
does a lot of good stuff. Even now, he actually had a song in Astroworld with Travis Scott's new album.
Right.
He has a writing credit, and he's just phenomenal at building layers and atmospheres with very simple things.
Mhm.
Just very few simple elements stacked together to make crazy walls of sounds. I could definitely hear that in your music too.
Yeah, and I think, that was a big base of our influence was, of course, classic rock growing up north where you listen to a lot of, bands from the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
big Steely Dan fans as well.
Oh
I was gonna
boy,
say.
yeah. Keep it going. Keep it going.
But of
Continue.
course, that late
let's
90s
expand
alt
on
rock,
that.
tons of different groups and that things. The Strokes were something we really, really liked in terms of energy. And then once I kind of like started working more in terms of songwriting, and I spent a lot more time with the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
I started focusing a lot more on folk music. So a lot of modern folk artists like Iron and Wine, Bright Eyes comes to mind. Conor Oberst is an
Okay,
amazing,
yeah, like alternative
amazing guy.
arrangements and like slightly more
And then,
in depth.
of course, Fleet Foxes kind of came later on.
Yeah.
The element of Fleet Foxes that I try and bring is like a bit of a timeless quality, so that it's
For sure.
it's kind of like there's a really good description of it where it's like they're talking about how every Fleet Foxes song is kind of like harkening back to some day that like was forgotten many, many years ago, and it has like this ancient quality to it.
Right.
And although I don't think we quite ever hit that level of authenticity,
It's like
I do
nostalgia
like the imagery. Yeah.
sort of like feel, but without being too specific. Yeah.
But yeah, so we kind of have both those elements inside of it. Greg comes from a huge funk background. He played a lot of funk and jazz growing up.
Yeah,
So you
tell
can
us a
hear
little bit
lot
more
of,
about Greg. What was his last name? Keys? Or what
Oh,
was
that's the wrong Greg. You're thinking of the other Greg.
You got more than one Greg.
This is Greg Smith.
Greg Smith. Yeah. Man, Thunder Bay musicians.
A lot of people.
Lots of Gregs.
Double Taylor, double Gregs.
How could you
Tell us a
forget
little
name
bit
like
about
Smith?
Greg, because he's one of the founding members, and he's a big, really big influence on the actual music.
Yeah, so me and Greg do a lot of the preliminary songwriting, and then we usually bring everything to Adam and Taylor to kind of flesh out in terms of rhythm and stuff, and they have their own kind of voicings and things they like to do.
Cool.
Greg is primarily a guitar player. He's been playing guitar for a long time, but he also does a lot of independent production in terms
Yeah.
of electronic music. So he has an amazing side project called Ciru. I submit everybody check out Ciro, with 2 R's and 2 O's. It's very like
CIROO, right?
yeah, it's really atmospheric, heavily layered, alternative electronic music, and it's absolutely fantastic.
It's really cool to be able to bring that side of production to an indie project.
Yeah.
It's a really well-rounded. That's really, I think, why you guys shine. You have this mix of classic old feel with like a very nice new alternative edge
Oh, cool.
to your music. I'm really excited for any new music projects that you might be coming out with. Do you have anything planned in the future?
Yeah, so right now we're actually in the middle of kind of prepping for our first kind of debut single. We did our first EP about 2 years ago now. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2016.
2015 actually, I think. Was it?
Really?
Was it that long ago?
You're asking the wrong. I wasn't even.
We should know this.
Yeah, but that was
But yeah,
a while ago.
It
I
was.
remember.
I think it was actually right. 2016 October, and basically, we had the 5 songs on there that we still kind of play some of them today.
Yeah.
And then we recently released a cover of a Fleet Foxes song.
And that's
we did
available on your
recently.
Bandcamp, right?
Yeah, you can check all that out online. Treemuseum.ca, and now we're doing a video release actually next week at the Horseshoe Tavern for our new single Tantalize.
Nice. That's going to be awesome. Actually, I want to give our audience a little bit of a view of what you guys actually do.
Cool.
We're going to just do a small acoustic set, and we'll be continuing the conversation.
And then when we come back, I want to talk to you about what it's like being a member of the Toronto indie scene. Because it's a very, very huge one.
Sure.
It is pretty big.
Very versatile. Very complex.
That's right. We'll be right back. Let's welcome this week's guest, Tree Museum.
Call me up, you piece of shit. You're the best. Scream until you get what you want. Anytime you come around, I know you're good enough. Everybody all worked up. Anytime I try to calm you down, it's good enough. Take it back to you. I wanna see you fail. Run, come. Even if you know you're walking out alone, I've gone. And everybody seems to know which way to go. Again, oh no, don't go. Again, oh no. I hope you don't cry and I hope you don't let it out. Just like you predicted. And I hope you found love and he didn't leave you all alone. Just like everyone else. Oh, and I hope you're right, I know. To let me know how it goes. See, I can put you in a cell. Or watch you build one for yourself. Well, I hope you don't cry and I hope you don't let it out. 'Cause everyone is watching. And I hope you found love and I gave it to you real slow. Just like you predicted. Oh, and I hope you're right, I know. So let me know when to go. See, I can put you in a cell. Or watch you build one for yourself. For yourself. Everyone is watching, and I hope you're right, I know. So let me know when to go. See, I can put you in a cell. I want you build one for yourself. For yourself.
oh, oh, oh.
And that was Tree Museum. Thanks again a million times for being on the podcast. And we're back. Woo! Yeah, thanks for that performance, guys.
Thank you.
Well, actually, I feel a little guilty that we didn't really give you all that much warning. I've been trying to keep this kind of fresh. I feel a lot of the time people will come over prepared with like crazy background beats and whatever. I want to kind of keep that element of just in spontaneity.
Just make it like a jam.
Yeah,
I was
jam it
surprised,
out.
man. I was surprised. I didn't shower at all.
I didn't know there were going to be cameras.
I didn't know there was going to be.
Nobody said anything about cameras.
This has been a surprise since I walked through the door.
Yeah, that's kind of like my life.
That's good. That's good.
Just I walk out the door. Oh, this again.
So going for what I was saying before we went on break there is so the Toronto indie scene is just massive.
It's huge.
It's like
some would say it's oversaturated,
or it's just like too good. You can say one or the other,
A little
but
bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
right, exactly. So let's get your opinion on that. Actually, now that you say that, so like, what's your thoughts and opinion on the Toronto indie scene?
Well,
if you feel like you fit in that category, if you want to go somewhere else with that, please let me know.
Well, no, my position on the Toronto indie scene is that there's like a lot of scenes, you know, like it's a lot of like a lot of walls.
Same thing with the metal scene. Then you have there's black metal, death metal, you know, metalcore, blah blah blah.
Precisely
like on and on,
my point, right? And I feel like there's
that's with everything though, man. It's just the same with rap.
Yeah, no,
you have clean rappers, you have trap rappers.
To be fair though, I will say that like by comparison to some of the more you know, maybe underground scenes, like if you look at like electronic music, or like, you know, house and like, you know, experimental electronic especially.
Yeah, like IDM stuff.
and even like metal and stuff like that. I will say that like the indie scene and especially the Toronto rap scene are a lot more commercialized than they used to be. So
For sure.
now that, especially
I
with like
agree with
Indie
that.
88 and
Yeah,
like,
for
you know,
sure.
like a lot of pop music now has a lot of indie influences. It's a lot more
It's weird how that's
Yeah.
true. It's like progressing in a very hip hop sort of progression, or a very indie progression.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's cool. You get some more natural instrumentation, you get some folk elements, but you're definitely seeing that there is like a look, for example. Like you have to dress a certain way, you got to wear those wide brim hats.
Yeah.
And, you know, and those are there's like a look for the indie rock bands, kind of like what you saw with like rock bands in the early 2000s, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting how music, even just outside the Toronto music scene, music in general is progressing in a really kind of unpredicted way. Like the other day I saw one of my friend had a Instagram story, and it was, I think, a Fetty Wap concert, and there was mosh pits.
Wow, yeah, for sure. Why not, right?
Yeah. that was the face I made. I was like, oh, I think you guys are doing it wrong. But that's just what's happening, right? It's progressing. It's a little more like
I think that's
punk.
cool.
Yeah, like the
Fuck
vibe
it.
that punk used to
Who
bring
gives
to
a
shows,
shit?
like get you pumped and get you jumping. Rap used to be just people showing up all mummy faced, staring at the thing, get drunk, and then leave. Now it's full of energy. It's crazy how that culture is kind of shifting towards that way.
I love that though. That sounds cool.
No, it's great. I'm all for it, But how do you guys feel? You guys fit in the Toronto music scene? Being
Like how many mosh
massive
pits do you guys get?
It's a number that's probably too big to calculate.
Yeah, it's just blood and sinew strewn across the floor at every single Tree Museum show.
You don't want to be there.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Tree Museum.
Especially not when he whips out that sweet acoustic guitar.
You know, it's weird because, you know, I love and hate the aspects of the big city scene. So, for example, like, it's really awesome in the sense that there's a lot of places to play and there's a lot of people that want to listen, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of the audience is
like,
crazy, no matter how small your niche.
It's the place to kind of be in Canada if you want to, you know, pursue music in a lot of ways. And that's partially because of how close it is to the States and those major markets, but also just because a lot of bands that are coming through here, there's a really vibrant scene here.
It's pretty central when you think about it.
It is
Even
very
just
centralized,
geographically, it's very central. It's like right in the middle. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what central means.
And, you know, that's actually one of the things that I actually love about Toronto and Southern Ontario because, as much as like people are online and releasing stuff on SoundCloud and like they're getting plays from like across the world, there's still like a huge element to being a musician and being in a geographic area where it's popular to play live, right?
Absolutely. You need that actual physical presence in order to carry through. You can't just have an online presence. I mean, you can, but only to there's a roof on that. You actually got to have a tour and go to play these shows for people to see you.
Yeah, like you got to show up,
Totally.
You actually got to put the work in and actually be out there and do stuff, which I think is actually important, because it shows the people who's actually interested in performing, live and going out there, hitting the ground, like pounding pavement to actually try and share their music with people in the most direct way possible.
Absolutely. And you guys, have you guys ever done a tour of any kind in Ontario, or a small tour even in just the GTA?
So not immediately, but we've done we kind of had like a kind of two-phase plan. Initially we just wanted to start playing shows in Toronto, and that kind of started with us obviously playing a lot of open mics, and then eventually getting into one or two good venues that would keep bringing us back,
right.
And that's how you meet people. You kind of eventually meet a couple different bands who invite you to their shows,
and snowballs into something bigger.
Exactly. And the Toronto music scene's been actually fantastic for that. It's been really good and supportive of that. We're planning a small college tour around the GTA in the fall, where we plan to just do a couple smaller bars, places like Hamilton, London, Kitchener, and Ottawa. We're going to be actually in Ottawa on the 24th of August for a quick show.
Oh, nice. What's the venue over in Ottawa?
I'm trying to remember now, but it's on the 24th. But it's one of our first gigs there, so we were hooked up with a local promoter who is interested in kind of shopping around to a couple places, and this is the first place we're going to
nice.
visit, so it should be nice.
Cool. Yeah, that's. I'm really excited to see how far you guys can like venture out with I've heard you guys grow from when you started to like where you are now, and I can see the potential. Always growing. Every time I go to these shows, I can see it just gets tighter. I really am excited to see where you guys are going to be going with this stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, hopefully us too.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I want to actually, every week we do this game where it's called Songversations.
Okay.
Basically, we pull it out of a bunch of cards.
Oh, look at that pile.
Oh, this is an actual game.
Big pile.
It's a real game. I did not just make this up in my
Look
head.
at all those coasters.
Yeah, they look like coasters, but they're actually cards.
Oh.
Here, there's a series of questions with a side A and a follow-up question, a side B. They're all music-oriented, basically. And the actual thing is made to have listening parties. To like get to know people better, get to know their taste, their influences, all that sort of thing.
Sweet.
So I'm gonna kind of mix these up a bit, and I'm gonna ask you, each of you, to draw a random one and then answer it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Go crazy.
Here we go.
So, what does your question say?
Do I play side A or side B?
Side A.
That makes sense. What song reminds you of a specific summer? Which summer? And why?
Did you have a crazy ass summer where you were listening to dubstep?
Telephone, your
No.
girl's so
No way.
unforgettable.
You have a phase
Has to be.
back in high
Usually-
school?
No, usually a summer will be defined by some sort of hilarious song that no one really knows. that me and my friends kind of discover and just go too far with it.
Wait, like every alarm clocks, and you guys
Yeah,
just send each
and
other the
just,
music
like-
video every day.
Well, we can't stop like singing it to each other
Oh, yeah.
in the most inappropriate possible times, like that kind of stuff.
I got a few of those.
So I'd have to say there's a Jackie Chan song. Now, if no one knows this,
Yeah.
Jackie
Yes,
Chan.
I do. I have heard
I
that.
Love You? Is it?
Wait for me,
Oh.
wait for me, please. I think it's called. It's like a
Jackie
ballad.
Chan. That one?
Ballad.
It was, okay.
No,
I
not that
love
one.
you.
Not that one. That one's gold too. That one's gold.
I thought you were about to say like this year, Post Malone, Jackie Chan.
Oh God, no.
Awesome. That would be
I
awesome.
actually hate that song.
Boy, is this the one?
He talks about sushi.
This is the one, right?
It's very awkward.
There's more than one Jackie
No, it's
Chan
not.
song out,
He
right?
has many albums.
Oh,
Jackie Chan might be the most talented man.
oh, you mean the actual real Jackie
Yeah, but-
Chan?
Yeah.
Like a song
Like
of his.
But he
The
says, I just ordered
action
sushi
star.
from Japan, and then he says Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan's from China.
Yeah.
That's racist.
I don't know what
Yeah.
you guys are talking about, but I'm talking
That's
about
cultural
human
appropriation.
known as Jackie Chan.
That's the song I thought you were talking about.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Oh no.
I seriously don't know what that
But you're actually talking about Jackie
Martial
fucking
arts
Chan.
legend Jackie Chan.
Oh my god!
Who comes out with albums.
Oh yeah, no, he's like
Movies.
because they take it so they take it.
Are you serious?
Actual Jackie Chan.
Oh no, dude, yeah, he's
No
he's
fucking
like
way.
a massive celebrity. He does movies, he does talk shows, he
Oh, I
has like
didn't-
his own candy.
Yeah,
Before
his
he was a
own-
martial
He has, like-
artist, he was a singer.
He's got a
That's right,
podcast.
that's right.
Oh my
He's got a
Yes.
podcast.
So for all of his Asian released films, he sings the theme song.
Yeah. So shout out to cultural appropriation.
More importantly,
Not
shout out to
actually.
Jackie Chan.
Well, no,
Not actually.
they really poorly done cultural appropriation.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not getting into
Jackie
that
Chan
ever.
is not from Japan. It's confirmed. What card did you pull out?
Am I doing side A as well too?
You're gonna do side A, yeah.
Okay, cool. My question is, what's your favorite song to listen to while you clean the house?
Oh, wow.
Ooh. I actually have one. Yeah, please enlighten me. What song is your favorite thing to clean to?
So I don't. The thing is that like when I'm listening to music, like especially like music I really like,
Yeah.
I can't really do too much else.
You just like to focus and
so when
really analyze
so
it.
like I get distracted by the music. So when I'm doing something important, like if I'm working or if I'm trying to type something,
Yeah.
I listen to like really either like repetitive or boring music. My go-to shit is actually like 16-bit mixtapes. I'll
Yeah.
listen to like 16-bit versions of all my favorite songs. But for specifically cleaning. No, because you got to realize video game music. It's like it's meant to keep you in like the zone.
it's
you
a
know?
specific
I never
like
thought about it like
frequency
that.
too.
That's
Right,
yeah.
and it's a limited dynamic range, so you can't get too.
Wow.
Totally.
But my favorite band, I will say it's a band because I'll just put on an album to listen to while I'm cleaning the house or doing any kind of repetitive household task is Cassiopeia,
okay.
which is like this insane, kind of like nouveau avant-garde.
Definitely from Japan.
100% from
Without
Japan. They play like
Just like
crazy
Jackie
fusion
Chan.
jazz.
No,
and
we
stuff.
went over to the Jackie Chan's not from Japan.
Cassiopeia from Japan.
Stop
Yeah.
spreading the
Okay.
fake news.
So Cassiopeia is like, if you guys haven't heard them, check them out. They're like these crazy, insanely, talented Japanese band.
That's awesome.
That you listen to and it sounds like the soundtrack to like every video game you've ever played in your life.
Just super
but it's
like
so good.
technical and
It's so
melodic
good.
and
It's like it's just
They're
insane
from like the 70s
jazz
too. They've
and
been
stuff.
around forever.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time.
Like
I got to tell you, when I'm
35
when I'm
albums.
out there and I'm just cleaning my room, I like to put on loud metal, specifically Lamb of God.
Lamb of
It-
God
It
is
just
pretty good,
makes
yeah.
me
Or
clean like a
Meshuggah. Just like some Meshuggah.
Yeah, Meshuggah's
Yeah, Meshuggah. Yeah,
fancy.
Meshuggah has the same effect. It's like
like-
you get into a trance and you're like, all right,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna fucking
Dude,
scrub this shit.
This dish is getting
You get to
clean.
listen to two songs at once.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a two for one sort of deal with Meshuggah,
Drums are
isn't
playing a
it?
different
Okay,
song.
yeah.
While everyone else is playing a different song.
And they,
Playing the wrong song.
but it still sounds so good.
So keep that for me.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. I don't think we got to your side B of your question.
Oh, we have to do side B.
Oh, we did
too?
both sides.
What we're,
Or do you want to pick a different card? Just keep it wild.
What's the side B here?
Oh, no, this one's not exciting. Where did you spend most of
Oh,
your
this one's
summers
boring.
growing
Well,
up?
it's on top of the summer questions. I'm fucking sick of
Well, it's
summer.
'cause
It's so
they're all
goddamn hot
related.
I want to
inside.
talk about.
I wanna-
I want to talk about fucking summer
I want a
anymore.
fresh one. I want a fresh
Yeah.
all right. Let's do a fresh round over here.
Okay.
Let's do one for both of you.
Ooh.
So you're gonna have to pick together.
Got to be quick.
Yeah.
Together.
Got to be quick. There's gonna be a
Let's grab
speed
this
round.
one
Let me. Okay. Give me them both. Give me them both.
Quick fire.
Let's go. I'll ask. Okay. So question number 1. So, is there a dream venue where you'd like to go see a live show?
Ooh, that's a really good one. The Grand Ole Opry.
Where's that?
That's in
Tennessee?
Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a real classic place. Johnny Cash used to play there a lot.
Oh, it's iconic, eh?
A friend of mine actually managed to play the opening set there with Dolly Parton at one point, which was pretty amazing.
Wow, who's your friend?
Yeah,
Johnny Cash.
Olivia Corcola.
Oh yeah.
Actually, yeah. So
Thunder Bay?
also from Thunder Bay, an amazing fiddler, fiddlerist.
Fiddlerist on the roof.
Not much time left. So, quick one for you. What song would your favorite artist open your dream concert with?
What?
Yeah. What's your favorite artist, first of
My
all?
favorite artist.
And then
Oh,
what?
man, it's like the hardest question.
And then I know.
question.
Go on. You have
It's
like
a quick fire.
20
That's the
seconds.
point.
20 seconds. Let's go. Not even. Enter it now. Let's go.
Okay, hold on. One that isn't dead. No, maybe one that is dead. Okay,
can be dead.
I'm super into Barry White right now.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Barry White
And what song would he open with?
could come in and open with "You're the First." You're the last. You're my everything. Oh man.
Oh.
Just
Disco
keeping it
hit.
classy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
This is good.
There's a little bit of insight into the Tree Museum.
Good luck in the future, guys. I have a good feeling about you.
Yeah, no, seriously, we're here to support all your future projects. Personally, I'm a big fan, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to be coming out with. But yeah, thanks again for coming on the podcast.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This has been
Cheers.
the audio station. My name is Lou,
My name is Ande.
and we'll be back next week with another artist and some more topics and some more
Talk about stuff.
debauchery.
Yep.
Let's be honest.
Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, take it easy.
See ya.